What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sons of Sever YouTube channel, where there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. My name is Eric. Today my brother Chris and I are going to be reviewing for you a couple of Barefoot sneakers from Realfoot, which is the brand with the widest toe boxes that we have found on the market so far. They've got two shoes out, one that resembles an Adidas Samba, and the one that I've got, the Pulse, that resembles a Nike Dunk. We're excited to bring you these reviews. It's always cool when you find a Barefoot shoe that's mimicking other really popular sneakers so that you can fit in more and still get those Barefoot features. So we're going to talk about the things that we like and don't like about these shoes. There's timestamps in the description if you want to go and bounce around. So I'm going to send it over to my brother Chris now so that he can talk to you about the Copero. That's the one that looks like the Adidas Samba.
The first like that I want to bring up for the Copero is going to be the way that this thing feels on foot. It's super soft on foot, both in the upper and in the insole. The insole is 4 millimeters, really squishy, actually a little bit rigid, so it does give a little bit of shape to the shoe overall. Obviously, if you want more ground feel, you can take that thing out, and then we have a 4 millimeter base stack height, so you can get really thin in these guys. But the way that this thing feels on foot, it's like a pillow is hugging your foot, and yet we still have that insane minimalism and the flexibility in there. So overall, just love the way that this feels when I'm wearing it. The next like I want to bring up for the Copero is going to be the performance of the outsole and traction pattern. I believe this is the only traction pattern that they currently use. We have chatted with them about that because we didn't love this for hiking in some of their boots, and they've said that they are working on a more aggressive, more outdoor friendly traction pattern. But what I will say about this one is, for a casual shoe, this is great. It's very grippy for a casual shoe. I actually wore this to work and it worked great in my metal truck. I wasn't slipping and sliding or anything like that. And it works great for things like the gym, especially with that extra wide toe box. It's going to let you grip the ground really nicely, and then it also works super well on something like a long board if you need to have really good traction on the board, whether it's because the board isn't super grippy or you just want to make sure that your shoe and the board are both super grippy to keep you anchored to it. The traction pattern that we have on the Copero is going to be really good for all of that. The last like that I want to bring up is how this thing manages to maintain all of those extreme Barefoot features, in my opinion, very extreme, while still looking pretty stylish. So we do have that insanely wide toe box, but the paneling that they've used on this shoe seems to hide it really well. Even Weston from Rose Anvil said that. I took these to him, I had him try them on, and while he did think they were way too wide in general and much more towards the clowny side of the clown to cool scale that he uses, he did mention that the paneling really helps to break up that profile. Then continuing on with maintaining those Barefoot features, obviously the width, but then we have insane flexibility to where these just roll up, and insane minimalism when it comes to ground feel. So this thing is extremely Barefoot, but I also find it really stylish.
Okay, so when it comes to my likes of the Pulse, the first thing that I'll say is that I really like the materials that it's made out of and the construction method that they use. So this is a leather sneaker, and I would always just rather wear something that's more natural than a plastic material on my foot. So I do appreciate that this sneaker is made out of leather. I also like the way that it has some side stitching on it, so that always gives you a little bit of extra durability and ruggedness to the shoe. It gives you some backup besides just gluing the upper to the outsole. So those are two really great things I like about this sneaker. When it comes to Barefoot shoes, there's so little to them, there's so little underfoot that the durability is always an issue. So I like that this is made out of leather and that it's got that side stitching on there. I think it's going to be a more durable sneaker. Another like that I have with the shoe, and a big obvious one for Realfoot shoes across the board, is the Barefoot features that they have. They're extremely minimal. So if you are looking to put a shoe on your foot that doesn't restrict your foot in any way possible, then Realfoot is a brand to look at. Their toe boxes are the widest of all the brands that we have come across so far. So if you have extra wide feet, then these are going to be for you. They are also extremely thin, but they strike a really good balance of comfort under your foot as well. So again, as Chris mentioned with his, these are 4 millimeters in the base stack height. They have a 4 millimeter insole that's pretty squishy, gives you a lot of comfort, but it doesn't stop the shoe at all from flexing in every which way that you could want. So your feet are going to be able to move very naturally in these shoes and still look really cool while doing it. So the last like that I'll mention here with the Pulse is the style. So this is obviously taking inspiration from the Nike Dunk, and I always love a good barefoot shoe that looks like a really popular shoe that can help you kind of fit in, because there is that stigma there that barefoot shoes are ugly, and that's always an issue with the toe box. So the way that they've done this paneling kind of hides that, which is a great feature to the shoe, but just the style overall, it looks like a Nike Dunk, so you're going to fit in better with the rest of your friends and everybody out there and the shoes that they're wearing, but you still get all of those barefoot qualities that we're looking for. So I do love a shoe that has those qualities that are healthy for your feet but also fit in really well. Alright, before moving on, we did want to mention the fact that we have an affiliate link with Realfoot. So if you go down in the description of the video, you can find that link. It'll take you to their website, and using those links really helps out the channel. If you want to support us in any way, that's a great way to do it. Because if you follow that link and it results in a purchase, we get a small commission from that sale at no extra cost to you, and helps us to put out more quality and better reviews for you. We also love to mention that the best experience that you can have with a barefoot shoe is with a good pair of toe socks to really let your toes splay out the way that they're supposed to. We love Creeper's toe socks, and we think that you should go and check them out. They have a wonderful balance of comfort, performance, and durability. They've got a lot of different colorways, they've got a few different heights, and they're coming out with new stuff all the time. So use the link in the description to get to their website.
Getting into my dislikes of the Copero, I really only have one thing that I don't like about this shoe, and it is the tongue slip, something that I not only have had issues with on other Realfoots, but just other sneakers in general in the barefoot space. I don't know why we haven't figured this out, but we can sew the tongue down, at least to some degree, on one side or the other, or on both sides, in order to get it to stay in place. And my big issue with this, it's not even a comfort or a function issue, it's a look issue. Over time, as I'm walking around, the tongue gets wrenched all the way to the outside of the shoe, to the point where you can almost see the top of my foot, and I just don't like the way that that looks, and it's something that should be really, really easy to fix. But that is my one dislike that I have for the Copero.
So the only dislike that I can think of with this thing, and this is a totally personal and subjective thing, is that they're almost too wide for me. I do enjoy the room for my toes to be able to splay out, but Chris and I noticed when we got a few other pairs of Realfoot shoes, and it's translated over to these ones as well, is that I kind of trip over myself a little bit side to side in a way. So if you got a shoe that's too long, then you can trip over things, right? The toe is going to catch on the ground or on stairs or whatever, and we find these ones to be so wide that we're hitting stuff out to the side sometimes. So if you have extra wide feet, these are definitely for you. If you want a shoe where your toes are going to reach their full splay and you're going to have no issues with the toe box at all, then these are for you. But if you have a narrower foot, then it might be a consideration that you want to think about.
Getting into my final opinion on the Realfoot Copero, would I recommend this shoe to somebody who's looking for a casual barefoot shoe? Absolutely. I think this thing is actually feature rich. Not only does it look good, but it feels fantastic on foot. Extremely flexible, extremely wide. You can add stack height or take away. I think they have a really good casual balance between their 4mm base and their 4mm insoles. So it's got all of those things. It's also relatively versatile. I think it looks good enough that it can go business casual. It can go to church. It can go to work. You can use it in the gym because of the barefoot features. It's got outsole stitching, so that's going to add to the robustness of the design overall, and I feel like you're going to be able to use it in lots of different places. The one caveat I will give is how extremely wide that toe box is. When I had Weston from Anvil try these on, he went full toe splay, and he's actually got a decent toe splay. His foot's just naturally pretty narrow in general. He had an inch of extra space towards the outside of the shoe. Now, I don't have that. If I go full toe splay, I actually fill up this toe box relatively decent, but I personally love it when my toes do not touch the outside edges of the shoe. That's just me. You may need that, you may not need that. So that is the biggest caveat, in my opinion, when it comes to whether or not you should get this shoe. Otherwise, I think this thing is awesome and I'd highly recommend it.
So when it comes to my final opinion of the Realfoot Pulse, would I recommend this for other people? Absolutely, for somebody who has extra wide feet, and then I would definitely recommend it for anybody who just wants a good looking barefoot shoe that's made out of leather that has some side stitching on it. If you want the most barefoot experience that you can have while wearing a shoe that looks good, then I think that this is a contender for you. Realfoot does a really good job. Make sure to check out the link in the description to get to their website. Those affiliate links really help the channel out.
Folks, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. All those things really help the channel out. If you're interested in any of the products that we talked about in this video, there will be links to them down in the description. If we have discount codes for any of those companies, they will be featured with the links. If you want to get more content from us, there are 3 different places you can get it. The first one is Patreon, where for $1 a month, you can get exclusive behind-the-scenes content we don't post anywhere else. If you want to be most up-to-date with what we are working on, make sure to follow us on Instagram, where we are constantly posting unboxing videos. Go follow us on Strava if you're interested in seeing mini reviews in real time of the products we're using and what we're using them for. Strava allows you to track and post about your different activities. We track and post about our runs, trail runs, hikes, paddleboarding, and weightlifting, and we do little mini reviews on the products we're using during those activities. Go follow us there, and we will follow you back. We appreciate your view, and as always, we will catch you in the mountains.